Good morning. This is White Raptor News Ministries. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the Living One. Blessings to all those that serve the Supreme Creator, whether you're Israel, Gentile, or a beast. None can deliver out of the hands of the Supreme Creator. It is alone by His thoughts that create salvation. Will you be part of it? Just a question you need to ask yourself. It says that 2/3 of God's children will fry from lack of knowledge. 2/3, by the way, happens to be 66.6. It also says that 1/3 of the angels fell from heaven, which is 33.3. Inverted, 33.3 could be 3.33. 3 plus 3 is 6, is 3 sixes. I've been sharing with people for years now the riddle of 666. I have deciphered the code. It has been broken, and people refuse to hear the truth. They would rather live by them unpleasant lies or unpleasant truths versus the lies. Or I forgot how that goes. Hold on. I can't find it. I can't remember how it goes. But anyways, we're here at 1 Kings 19. Elijah flees to Horeb. Everybody have a blessed day. Now, Ahab told Jezebel everything Elijah had done and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. What prophets? Elijah killed all prophets with the sword? Hold on. The Supreme Creator did say that if you kill with the sword, you shed man's blood with the sword, then by man's hands your own blood shall be shed by the sword. So, is this true? A prophet of God slaying other prophets? And what other prophets were they that were being slayed? Were they the tribes of Israel? Or were they false prophets? Now, I could understand slaying false prophets, but that's a different story. So Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah to say, "May the God deal with me, be it ever so severely, if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like that of one of them." Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. Elijah was afraid. He went in, he killed. Would there be consequences to this? Already, you're showing that a Jezebel is saying that Elijah shall be dead. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there, while he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness. He came to a broom bush, sat down under it, and prayed that he might die. "I had enough, Lord," he said. "Take my life. I am no better than my ancestors." Then he lay down under a bush and fell asleep. That's kind of confusing to me. If he wanted the Lord to take his life, then why would he flee from a woman who's saying that she's going to make him dead, going to make him lifeless? Just a question. All at once, an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." He looked around, and there by his feet was some bread baked over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and drank, then lay down again. Why do you suppose there's only bread back there in the day? How come not any olives or fruits or peaches or anything like that? Just questions. The angel of the Lord came back a second time and touched him and said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." So he got up and ate and drank. Strengthened by that food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God. There he went into a cave and spent the night. Now, there's a lot of people that have a difficult time understanding that everything that has substance, that feeds the body, the mind, and the soul, comes from the Spirit, the Supreme Creator. It's that simple. Okay? So if the Supreme Creator wants to make somebody live for 40 days and 40 nights and without any food, I'm pretty sure that he could do it. Absolutely. But people like that, they're in a flesh suit and they're incarnated, so they can't fathom that reality that source is where all things come from. Therefore, source is what feeds us. He replied, I had been very zealous of the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too. Here we're at the Lord appears, excuse me. The Lord appears to Elijah, and the word of the Lord came to him. What are you doing here, Elijah? He replied, I've been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too. The Lord said, Go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by. Then a great powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord, but the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. Then Elijah heard it. He pulled his cloak over his face and went down out and stood at the mouth of the cave. Then a voice said to him, What are you doing here, Elijah? He replied, I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. Israelites have rejected me. I don't know how. Give me a second. I don't know what happened there. It's like I was reading it twice. It is. It's right here. He replied, and have been zealous for the Lord Almighty. The Israelites have rejected me, and then it says it down here again. It was. Well, see, they do that a lot in the Old Testament as well. They repeat it. They repeat it. Like when you read the New Testament is basically 4 people writing 4 different stories, but basically all saying the same thing. So they're trying to kill me too. The Lord said to him, Go back the way you came and go to the desert of Damascus. When you get there, anoint Hazael king over Aram. Also anoint Jehu son of Nimshi king over Israel, and anoint Elisha son of Shaphat from Abel Mahala to succeed you as prophet. Jehu will put to death anyone who escapes the sword of Hazael, and Elisha will put to death any who escape the word of Jehu. Yet I reserve 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed down to Baal, and whose mouths have not kissed him. The call of Elisha. So Eliah went from there and found Elisha, son of Shaphat. He was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen, and he himself was driving the 12 pair. Elijah went up to him and threw him a cloak around him. Elisha then left his oxen and ran after Elijah. Let me kiss my father and mother goodbye, he said, and then I will come with you. Go back, Elijah replied. What have I done to you? So Elijah left him and went back. He took his yoke of oxen and slaughtered them. He burned the plowing equipment to cook the meat and gave it to the people, and they ate. Then he set out to follow Elijah and became his servant. Okay, I'm going to cut out of here early this morning. I hope everybody's having a pleasant day. This is White Raptor News Ministries.